A lot of news making headlines this morning, including Rudy Giuliani with some comments on Stormy Daniels that are making headlines. But we begin with the backlash surrounding comedian Samantha Bee after she called Ivanka Trump a, quote, feckless C-word during her cable TV show last week. Sam Bee returned to the airwaves last night and made a point of saying she's used that word many times on TBS, but she did apologize, sort of. NBC's Craig Melvin has more.
A lot of people were offended and angry that I used an epithet to describe the president's daughter.
Comedian Samantha Bee back on the air a week after using a vulgar term to describe Ivanka Trump on her cable show Full Frontal. The host addressing the controversy last night.
It is a word I have used on the show many times, hoping to reclaim it. This time, I used it as an insult. I crossed the line, I regret it, and I do apologize for that. The problem is that many women have heard that word at the worst moments of their lives. A lot of them don't want that word reclaimed. They want it gone. And I don't blame them. I don't want to inflict more pain on them.
Bee's comments setting off a firestorm.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless. He listens to you.
Bee says her harsh words were meant as a way to urge Ivanka to talk to her father about long-standing immigration policy that requires illegal immigrant children to be held and processed separately from adults. But the backlash was almost instant. Some advertisers, including Auto Trader and State Farm, pulled their sponsorships. President Trump tweeting, "Why aren't they firing no-talent Samantha Bee for the horrible language used on her low-rating show? A total double standard, but that's okay." Referring to how ABC pulled the plug on Roseanne Barr's show after Barr's racist tweet about a former Obama advisor. Bee first apologized just hours after the comments, tweeting, "I crossed a line and I deeply regret it." Her station, TBS, releasing a statement calling it vile and inappropriate language and saying it should not have been aired. But some came to her defense, including former Daily Show colleague Jon Stewart, who said, "A lot of what the right does, and it's maybe their greatest genius, is they've created a code of conduct that they police, that they themselves don't have to in any way abide."
I should have known that a potty-mouthed insult would be inherently more interesting to them than juvenile immigration policy.
Now, Samantha Bee, known for her stinging satire, saying she's sorry, but moving forward.
I am. I'm really sorry that I said that word, but you know what? Civility is just nice words. Maybe we should all worry a little bit more about the niceness of our actions. Okay, thanks for listening.
Joining me now to break it all down, NBC's Stephanie Gosk, along with New York Times investigative reporter and NBC News and MSNBC contributor, Megyn Kelly. Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to get to Rudy Giuliani in a minute, who actually just gave
please.
NBC News a follow-up statement, which is interesting too. But let's start with Sam Bee. First of all, apologies that are quickly followed by the word "but" are always problematic. And I give her credit for saying on the air that she is sorry and for trying to explain what she was trying to do, right? Because it's like, and I never thought Sam Bee should be fired over her remark. But to me, the interesting thing was to fall back on, I'm a comedian. So is Roseanne. That doesn't, being a comedian doesn't excuse everyone's comments. And it was more than uncivil, in my view. I mean, that term is more than just vulgar. It's deeply offensive to a lot of women. But did you get it done?
Well, I mean, I think when you talk about civility, we all have a responsibility to take part in it. And especially now, every word that you say, if you're a public figure, if you're on TV, whatever it is, we all have to take a step back and say, what am I saying and what effect is it going to have on people? Because we are at odds with each other all the time.
Mm-hmm. I do think the but was significant. I do feel like she was sort of talking out of both sides of her mouth, that there was an apology there last night, but there also was a scolding of people for caring about this and for having issues with her using that word on air against a woman. And I think that it's very possible for people to care about this immigration issue, to care about children being removed from their parents at the border, and also care about the word, the use of the C word.
Exactly. And with respect to our children as well, you're not wanting that word circulated in the lexicon. It's like same people who got upset that Trump called me and others bimbos should be equally upset. And I don't find I'm a comedian an adequate excuse. I understand you want to go to the Comedy Cellar and make those jokes on stage, go for it. I mean, comedians get paid to be completely irreverent in that setting. But once you're given a television show, whether you're Jon Stewart or you're Samantha Bee or you're Roseanne, like it or not, you're held to a higher standard. You're held to a higher standard. You're in our homes. And yes, we can turn the channel, but you still have a huge microphone. So listen, I feel like she apologized. She has a brand. Either you like it or you don't. But I tip my hat to her for saying on the air that she is sorry, which isn't always easy to do. We've got to get to Rudy. So Rudy Giuliani was over in Israel, and he answered all sorts of questions about Trump, about life, about love. And they asked him whether the First Lady, Melania Trump, believes the Stormy Daniels allegations that Stormy and Trump had an affair back in 2006. Well, he was married to Melania, and Rudy said she doesn't believe Stormy Daniels, and then went on, to say this.
She believes in her husband. She knows it's untrue. I don't even think there's a slight suspicion that it's true when you, when you look at Stormy Daniels. I know Donald Trump, and
let's respect him.
Look at his 3 wives, right? Beautiful women, classy women, women of great substance. Stormy Daniels. So I respect all human beings. I even have to respect, criminals. But I'm sorry, I don't respect a porn star the way I respect a career woman or a woman of substance or a woman who has great respect for herself as a woman and as a person and isn't going to sell her body for sexual exploitation. So, Stormy, you want to bring a case? Let me cross-examine you.
So NBC reached out to him just this morning. He said he stands by his comments. Why wouldn't I? He said, look, are you going to try to tell me that porn is not demeaning to women? And when questioned about whether he's trying to undermine Stormy's credibility, he said, I don't have to undermine her credibility. She has none.
Megyn, if you sat me down right now and said, Stephanie, please script the worst possible thing that could come out of Giuliani's mouth and answer that question, I'd be hard-pressed to come up with something worse. I mean, honestly, it's just shockingly dumb and offensive.
I mean, it's also part of an ongoing Trump playbook. I mean, not just in the case of Stormy Daniels, but going back to the 2016 presidential race, when there were women who came forward with not claims of consensual affairs, but actual sexual misconduct against him. One of his defenses was, she's not attractive enough. I wouldn't have done that. She's not attractive enough.
Have you seen her?
So this is sort of a continuation of a defense that's rolled out when they want to discredit women, saying they're not attractive to be attractive enough to be telling the truth about him.
And can I just tell you, so the notion that, he respects women of substance, a woman who won't sell her body for sexual exploitation. So Melania Trump is classy and gorgeous, and I really admire her. But she has posed nude for GQ magazine back in 2000. And so to suggest that Trump would never respect and that Giuliani wouldn't respect anybody who's ever sold her body for sexual exploitation, I mean, it's not, now I'm not comparing the two. Posing nude is not the same as being a porn star, but come on, right? Come on. Let me play devil's advocate, though, on Giuliani's behalf, since he's not here. I went back and I looked at Stormy Daniels' Twitter feed, which I cannot say that I recommend to you. But she's very open about how she is offensive, how she's offensive, and talking about whores do lie, but on their backs, but sometimes we kneel or bend over. Have you seen my, of course you have, F off to people on Twitter, talking about what kind of sex she'll do on camera in very vulgar terms. So there is a contingent of folks out there watching Giuliani who are going to be like, right? I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Certainly, those kinds of things are going to be offensive to people, and they're going to look at that and say, oh, God. And I get that. but she's also playing to them a bit. And she said, I have every right in the world to be who I want to be this person. And when what happened to her happened with Trump, she's fighting her fight. And I think when Giuliani comes out and talks about her substance and her appearance, he can come out and say, you know what, it didn't happen.
Right.
Trump says it didn't happen. Melania said it didn't happen. Fine. That's a perfectly fine defense. But now he's going after her character and her substance, and it just is.
And being an adult film star does not make you a liar.
Well, and
it doesn't make you a liar.
And right, and exactly. I was doing reporting on Stormy Daniels this winter, and I actually traveled out to Los Angeles for the Golden Globes equivalent for the porn industry. And I
that must have been interesting.
It was interesting. It was interesting. Stormy was up for Best Director for a film at the time, and I thought maybe I'd be able to catch her there. She didn't show. But I actually spent a lot of time talking to women in the adult entertainment industry, and have had many conversations with women in the field since then. And you can say whatever you want about them, but they are certainly career women. I mean, these are professional women who take their jobs very seriously and oftentimes are running their own companies and directing their own films. And it's just, I think that beyond what he's saying about Stormy Daniels, to do a categorical dismissal of this, entire profession of women is uncalled for.
Can I just ask the audience, do you believe that Melania Trump believes Donald Trump? No. Right? In his denial of the affair.
I didn't say it was a good argument. I just said it could be an argument.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Great to see you, ladies. We'll be right back.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.